Hello and welcome everybody to the Overwatch League Summer Stage Qualifiers here in the East. I'm Vicky Kitty and I'm joined once again with Nekra, and we're going to take you guys to the day 2 action. I'm super excited, Nekra, because our first match is going to be another live show.
That was such an exciting way to be able to end our day yesterday and to be able to kick that off and have that energy propel us through the rest of our matches today. I am so stoked, especially when you take a look at the two teams that are going to be starting today at that LAN.
Yeah, let's talk about that first series while we get set up on stage for you all at home and for the audience as well. That's why I love these live shows. We get to see the fans come out, will show their support, give the energy that they need, because our first match will be up against a contenders team. Some of you guys may know them. They are very popular out here. O2 Blast versus the Seoul Infernal. We have to see the O2 Blast, though, really turn things around and not live up to their namesake, Necker, because last week it was very troublesome. And what can you expect when your roster keeps getting poached with such amazing, talented Overwatch League potential players officially finding themselves into the Overwatch League, or even former players that make their way back into the scene?
That's the tough thing about O2 Blast being one of the star-studded feeder teams into the Overwatch League is they breed some of the best talent, but that does mean that they suffer these incredible losses in these breaks in the seasons where they are coming in with a pretty retooled roster and definitely have a bit of ground to make up after the very first week of qualifiers. But it's been amazing action so far, taking a look at last week into this week, and there's still so much more of the summer stage to play, so those standings can absolutely shake up over time.
Yeah, they'll shift away, especially since we're only on the second week, guys. Make sure to keep following through to see how your favorite Eastern teams are doing. Love how you touched up on the history of O2 Blast. And, eventually the well has to run dry, right? You have all these talented players and they keep getting plucked out of your roster. So difficult to be able to have that all-star lineup that you could maintain at the very least. And they're up against probably the best team in APAC right now, the Seoul Infernal. Talk about a stacked team at the most of it.
When you take a look at the Seoul Infernal as well, these are players that have been together for a pretty long period of time. With that comes a lot of familiarity and comfort when it comes down to how much you can actually trust your teammates around you. And time again, we have seen this roster of players just go above and beyond, continue to improve, and they're coming into this stage once again looking like the top team to beat when it comes down to that Sombra Tracer Winston dive.
I'm thinking about, Zesty out here being able to hold hands with MN3 once again. You talk about having that history as well as Fixa too. So many of these individual players have that history to remain cohesive, have that synergy, and they've already displayed it thus far. Looking at the results from the very first week, Necra, we're going to get the standings ready for you guys soon so that way you can see where we're sitting at right now for the second week. Again, these standings will be shifting significantly as the qualifiers continue on, but it's important to know about how they started, and that's why we like to highlight teams like the Seoul Infernal. Looking at how their series went versus the Hangzhou Spark, which is probably the second best team out here alongside the Seoul Infernal. Now, as we take a look, Dallas Fuel remain on top alongside the Seoul Infernal, tied right there. Dreamers coming short after their match versus Poker Face yesterday still allows them to sit in that third place spot, Necra.
That's really where these teams want to be, is those top 3 spots that will qualify them to be able to go to the play-ins for the playoffs. But when it comes down to those teams that are at that 1-2 record and downward, this is where they got to start turning things around. They're playing 7 matches in these qualifier stages, and we are just about to approach the halfway point for a lot of these teams. As you highlighted, we're kicking things off with O2 Blast versus Seoul Infernal, and on the rest of this graphic, you can also see the other matches that we've got in store for you today. My eyes, though, Vicky, drawn to that Hangzhou Spark and Seoul Dynasty match.
Yeah, I'm excited for that one. That's one that I definitely have my Preds already locked in for right before everything got started. That's going to be a good one. You definitely don't want to miss that. And the end right there, too, after their performance yesterday. One of our contenders teams still stick it through, be able to take care of the Shanghai Dragons, especially after what we saw Dreamers do in week 1. They beat the Shanghai Dragons 3-1, so you definitely know it's back to the drawing board for this team to see that they do not fall to another contenders team.
Absolutely, but that's a tough ask too, because when you take a look at the talent on these contenders teams, as well as how they earned their way to be able to play in this stage, I mean, come on. These are some really incredible players, and they absolutely earned and deserve their spots in these summer stage qualifiers. And you can see O2 Blast right here starting to take the stage.
Taking a moment for the crowd to welcome them. We got Prophet, Lil P making his appearance once again. Who Are You, Protect, Search, Karu. Small team here just getting ready, getting set up. Also, just absolutely love the fact that we get to see these players play against these teams live in Seoul at the WDG Esports studio. Shout out to WDG, as we also welcome now the Seoul Infernal.
Seoul Infernal, these are players that you have been able to see grow into these big shoes, filling them incredibly well as well. I mean, every single time you take a look at the Seoul Infernal, I feel like people have learned to expect to predict them to win their matches. O2 Blast, the Blast from the past, may be able to prove to be a formidable force here, but by the way that the Seoul Infernal are playing, I don't see them dropping a match this stage either.
If anything, what we already witnessed in our first week, they were able to beat the Hangzhou Spark. Give you guys some history here. If you guys missed out on that week's action, they beat them 3-0. And against Poker Face, they did drop one, I believe. It did end 3-1 as we take a look at the match preview for today against O2 Blast and the Seoul Infernal. We just saw the Seoul Infernal also beat the Guangzhou Charge 3-0 yesterday. So already looking to be in a dominating fashion.
Just so strong, and I totally agree with this match preview graphic. You are not prepared. I don't know how many teams are actually prepared to be able to face off with them, Vicky. It's been so tough going for so many of these teams, even taking a look at some of their most recent records. O2 Blast, their former roster, able to hold their own against them in the spring stage knockouts, but they have a completely different roster now when you take a look at their players, and that 3-2 so long ago feels like it might be so far away.
Talk about being prepared. One match I cannot wait to see between the Seoul Infernal is going to be next week's first match against the Dallas Fuel. That really will determine which of our teams that are leading the way in the East are going to be able to come out on top. So much to look forward to for this squad here as we take a look at O2 Blast now getting set up at the table. It's going to be exciting because this is another team that has a lot to prove after the performance last week. Coming short, literally ending 0-2. They don't want to be 0-3 Blast here in this case. Going up against the best team, it's going to be so difficult, Necra.
It really is going to be difficult, but you can see all of the love that is out there from the fans that are in the arena to be able to cheer these teams on. And you hit it right on the head at the very beginning of the broadcast, talking about how much love and support O2 Blast as a team and as a legacy does hold in the Korean community and beyond that. So I'm so excited to be able to see the support for them here too.
What I love about these live tournaments is being able to not only have the audience support these teams, but then you get to see the best of both worlds, where teams feel that power up off of the energy of the support, or teams that may get nervous even if the crowd isn't all there for them, you know? It's a bit of both. You still got the lights on you, you got to play out of a different setup out here, you got to feel comfortable. A lot here for these players, but a lot of them also have been used to this type of performance. So just another day at work for a lot of these players that are just getting right back into form.
That's such a great point that you bring up, because we have seen teams, let's just taking a look at like the Florida Mayhem, for example, falter a little bit under the pressure of having that live audience, because you can see their reactions to the things that are happening because you are facing them. And while your focus is on the screen, your periphery can still see how the crowd is reacting to the plays that you make. But just to give you a visual, the O2 Blast starting lineup should be pretty stock standard when it comes down to how O2 Blast played out their first few matches of the stage.
Yeah, playing through a different variation of the roster. Most of this roster that played in the knockouts, they get picked up by the Overwatch League team, so they had to go through a significant roster change out here, and you can see that they still are making those adjustments while we take a look at the starting lineup right now for Seoul Infernal.
Big plays. There he goes. rescued. Feels like this needs to be rescued, and indeed it does.
Look at how aggressive he's able to get right now. Everybody's dropping.
And it is just a field day for Zest again. Oh my god.
MN3 has other plans, so MN3 has other plans, though!
I love hype videos, Necro. Every time I get to see them, they never get old. Even when they replay over and over again, it always gets me excited to get into this series. Again, looking at the starting lineup and the highlights that these individual players have been able to do on the Seoul Infernal. They also are getting a support of their own from the crowd, coming through with their signs, all excited here. It's a bit of a mix here between our audience for both O2 Blast and the Seoul Infernal.
I was a little disappointed by the rebrand of the Philadelphia Fusion to the Seoul Infernal, but the fans love them so much. I feel like they haven't skipped a beat when it comes down to showing their support for these teams as well as these incredible players. MN3 and Zest, the last season alone, were able to make such names for themselves when it came down to their hero pools as well as the standout performances they were able to have in the Eastern region. Mag as well. I mean, yeah, you're going to see him as a little bit of a new look here for the Seoul Infernal in particular coming into this season, but he has also been able to show up in such a big way, expanding his hero pool a lot to be able to show off everything that he's got and show the versatility of the Seoul Infernal overall as a team.
Yeah, the history that this team has with so many of the players that make up the Seoul Infernal, and then even the audience showing their support out here. You saw the sign, shout out to Unknown, letting us know, I'm planning a trip to Toronto thanks to the Infernal. Really highlights how fans are willing to travel across the world to show that support for the big stage out here, as they deserve, as we take a look at the side-by-side here, which will, by the way, change significantly as we still play through the summer stage here. Looking at the comparison between Who Are You and Zest in the limited time that they have been able to play.
That's
Zest
mean.
is insane though, Necro. Like,
this
I
is so
highlighted
mean.
it before. it is significant in comparison, but I've always been a Zesty fan, even while he was on the Fusion. His Tracer always puts on a show. And I can't wait to see how that transfers over for today. But once again, his survivability is out there, but these stats will change throughout the course of the few games that O2 Blast will be able to participate in.
Yeah, like that's not nice. The stats are so skewed because of the team's overall performance records just in the first week alone. Seoul Infernal, they've got their stats padded to the stars right now when it comes down to the amount of eliminations, their deaths per 10. Just overall, they're going to have a little bit of inflation when it comes down to that. But we're heading over to Ilios in our first map of this set. You can see what else is going to be in store for us if we end up going to maps 4 and 5. But O2 Blast, they definitely have their work cut out for them, especially knowing that Ilios is such a good dive map overall.
Against one of our better teams here in APAC. I was gonna say Necro. The only skewed I know is our insane on a player on the Infernal. But you know what? Going into our first map, getting set up here. Other highlights that we have seen. Just wanted to highlight the individual players from O2 Blast against these Giants. We've seen already what Lil P could do, coming right back again after seeing him in the first stage on Seoul Dynasty. Who Are You? Got to see him back in 2022, I believe, on the Dragons. There are players here on O2 Blast that can shine, but again, it's going to be difficult when you're constantly going through these roster changes, making these adjustments on the short amount of time that you can make them against a team like the Seoul Infernal that have stuck together.
That's the biggest thing that O2 Blast are dealing with right now. You've got a singular tank in the front line. Protect is new to this roster heading into the summer stage qualifiers, and O2 Blast have shown a few signs of weakness when it comes down to some of their communication. But it's gonna be O2 Blast making their way to the point first, hoping to try to take down MN3 before he gets the better of Protect on that Ramatra.
And that health pack too. That's what Protect was trying to initially stop him. Protect taking a lot of damage here, and so is Skewed. Who Are You? Opening things up alongside Surge. 2 out, make it 3, lost out from the Infernal. Even though Blast did lose out on Karu, that's still going to put the number advantage in O2 Blast's favor. Well, they are going to make their way over to take the point first.
I was worried for a second they weren't going to actually get the cap there before Seoul Infernal could come back and recontest. A slight little bit of lag there. And as I say that, we're also going to get a bit of a pause coming through But let's talk about the difference in these teams really fast. Mag is known for the Wrecking Ball. That is something that could have potentially been expected coming out from the Seoul Infernal, whereas O2 Blast smartly playing around that, going over to a more brawl-centric composition with the Ramatra at the front that has that shield as well to be able to help bolster up Prophet's Hanzo.
And even then, too, we've seen Protect pop off on the D.Va before, so we could possibly see that going forward as well. If the Ram doesn't work out here, it depends on how quick we get to see MM3 build up that EMP being on the Sombra, while Zest is going to continuously harass the backline being on that Tracer. But O2 Blast with that strong start already with Prophet opening things up, and then Search being able to get that first pick. O2 Blast get to put themselves in the driver's seat, not only in terms of ult charge, but in terms of positioning here, too. Okay, just waiting real quick before we dive right back into the game. But I like how you highlighted Protect here, because starting off on that Ram, you are going to be able to have that barrier, which is going to be the difference maker in comparison to the D.Va. It does have that Matrix to help heal for both Search and Karu, but Search already seems like he's able to help fend for himself being on that brig to deal with the Tracer that's going to come from Zest.
There's a lot of different pieces that O2 Blast are trying to play around, almost like a chess match. If they are able to expect that Mag would come out on the Wrecking Ball, and they would also be able to pepper in that Sombra and Tracer damage, there are ways that O2 Blast can come into this one a little bit more prepared. And as you pointed out, having control of the point first is a huge asset for O2 Blast to be able to get a lot more ultimate charge, as well as just capture progress on the point. They can hold that Ramatra up a little bit closer, play a little bit more supportive to Search and Karu in the backline, who are fairly stable and also really nice targets there for MN3 and Zest, and that should help them a lot to be able to try to get these early picks. But Seoul Infernal are slippery. You'll see MN3 and Zest try to go after that backline, and the pulse bomb too, unfortunately going to miss its mark.
Will definitely be able to keep harassing Skewed. The Immortality Field was already called in by Fixa, gets deleted, and Protect is able to immediately retaliate and find Zest in that attempt with the pulse. Infernal lose out on that backline, lose out on more members, and O2 Blast still remain on this point here while Prophet gets into position on the Hanzo.
What's really tough about the backline that Seoul Infernal are running is that it's the Zenyatta and the Baptiste. Zenyatta is so incredibly vulnerable to Whoaryu's Tracer. Sure, we ended up getting to see the Tracer versus Tracer stats, but Whoaryu is no slouch on the Tracer. It's gonna be tough for Skewed and Fix to try to keep themselves alive without investing something like the Immortality Field.
And a boost already used up onto Prophet. They are running away. The Immortality Field was called in again, and Skewed, where are you going? Down to the abyss as Prophet takes out the backline again. And I definitely agree here, Necro. Having the Zed here, you're going to continuously get pressed by Whoaryu, but Prophet also as well with these different angles does not let Skewed get set up.
Well, I think about it from the perspective that Skewed and Fixa died 3 times. They have yet to get an ultimate online, and we're already in last fight.
Actually insane. Meanwhile, Surge has the rally. Dragon's gonna be called into EMP right afterwards as MN3 finally finds Prophet, but guess what out here? Who are you? His pulse zone gets negated by the Immortality Field, and Prophet still gets the pick with the Dragons. Overtime ticking away, and Surge waited at the very end to pop that rally. Meanwhile, Mag rolls right in on the ball. Zest gets taken up by Who Are You? O2 Blast retired after the results of week 1 and already opening up this first round strongly.
Oh my gosh, Mag has to go back in and contest the point. Can't even do that. Skewed went down with the Transcendence.
Yeah.
Talk about the pressure that O2 Blast was putting onto the backline. Skewed and Fixa got down so often. I have never seen a Baptiste completely miss out on getting an ultimate up in a round. What?
No amp matrix, no trans.
No amp matrix.
Like, taking a look at the replay right here. Skewed just trying to play off the back, gets deleted. Zest. Never to see another light while Protect says, oh, everybody's over to the side room. It was only a matter of time before Skewed was going to fall victim to Protect's hands. And we are getting the swap up of Protect onto the D.Va here, like we mentioned, as we usually see on Well, because he could get onto the high ground much easier.
That's a really great call out too, because Zest is coming out on the Echo, already preparing to have to go for that aerial duel against that particular DPS player. Even you have Mag on the high ground as well. This is a great way for Protect to also try to contest that. As you mentioned, But Prophet too, making a really nice counter call, bringing out the Ashe to also contend with Zest.
I think that first pick out to Mag is absolutely huge because this could set up O2 Blast very similarly to that first round once it had started. Going to be able to have the Infernal respect that, go right back around the corner, and like you mentioned, Zest being on this Echo to try to get onto the high ground to put in some extra pressure, but that's just going to allow some free shots from Prophet in the back.
Prophet is already building up so much charge. Look at that. Another great way to be able to counter the Echo. It's already paying off in dividends here as Seoul Infernal are just getting kept away from the point. Mag got so low in that fight. Look at how much healing investment had to go into it. Skewed at least will get the Nano online and an ultimate to be able to throw this fight this time around, but it has to pay off.
Protect that Diva Bomb just in case the engagement comes in from Seoul Infernal and he has to reset. Prophet's also about to get the Bob. Skewed with the Nano Boost. Gonna be what they're gonna use to start off this fight. Already activated onto Mag here. Protect, trying to contest the back line over to the side room while Who Are You holds the front line right alongside, and Prophet gets the follow-up onto Zest, stopping him from continuing on the pressure from the skies. Protect then follows up between Skewed and Bixa. Backline deleted, and the rest of Seoul Infernal are just falling like dominoes.
It's a whole, I don't even know what you would call like a knockout of dominoes. I don't know where I was going with that one, but it's Seoul Infernal. That's just what's going to be there in the dictionary here. Seoul Infernal can't get any sort of progress on the board. They can't even really touch the point. Okay, Prophet finally goes down, but yeah, it's still not looking great.
Taking care of the problem while MN3 lands these pulls from 6 is definitely the way to start off a better fight here in last fight territory in favor for O2 Blast. The rally, though, in rally against Surge, gets shut down. Mag waking up after he had used the Primal earlier for the previous fight when he was nano boosted originally before and then backed off to the rest of Infernal just to wait to re-engage with them, now allowing the Infernal to flip this point.
They had to invest so many ultimates at this one, but they were at least able to start taking down the Grave Bosses. Those deaths for Who Are You and Protect were their very first ones in this map.
Zest has that duplicate. They look to try to copy Karu here. Who Are You approaching on the higher ground alongside Prophet. I love watching the Tracer v Tracer play here, just trying to track exactly where they want to approach. So that's cheeky little high ground for 2 from Who Are You.
Love to see where this duplicate goes. Is it gonna be on the Ana?
Oh, right there. Oh, it was on the Diva instead. MN3 popping off, finding the backline onto O2 Blast. Especially with the duplicate use, despite that, Who Are You still finds MN3, but that's no issue. MN3 will get right alongside the rest of the Infernal just as quick, winning another team fight to try to equal the grounds here against O2 Blast.
Just being able to use the duplicate there as well as the Nano has bought Seoul Infernal some valuable time to get this ultimate rotation back on its feet. So you have the MN3 Pulse Bomb, that paid off dividends for them when it was able to get that stick under the backline of O2 Blast just a couple of fights ago, and Mag with the Primal Rage as well. This should buy Seoul Infernal enough time to get something else, maybe the rally up there, to be able to contest with the Bob. We are entering into final fight territory now for this round. Seoul Infernal looking like they've set themselves up for success to take this one and take us to a round 3.
Misses out on that pulse bomb after he had used a free call earlier against MN3. Now losing out on Prophet. Search gets hit with a big ante. O2 Blast loses out on another team fight, and Seoul Infernal already reaching the 99% with nobody left in sight from O2 Blast. Overtime ticking away. It doesn't seem like anybody from O2 Blast could even touch the well. We are going on to round number 3 for our first map.
All right, O2 Blast taking the win on Ruins, and now Seoul Infernal getting on the board for Well. That means that we're going over to Lighthouse next, which Seoul Infernal, being able to take a look at the Echo Dive coming out from them, should be able to have a bit of an upper hand when it comes down to this particular round. But boy, did MN3's Pulse Bombs look very clean on the second round when it looked impossible for MN3 to keep up with Who Are You in that Ruins round.
Even bigger when the first pick in that fight to start off things was on Karu, who had that nano boost ready that could have turned everything right back around for O2 Blast. Seeing the progress that they had made initially on the point, now getting started. No changes here. Zest still sticking on the Echo.
The Zest Echo works a little bit better on Lighthouse as well. Take a look at all of the different places that you can hide around. Well, a little bit more of that open space, so you don't have these large pillars or even the Lighthouse itself to be able to work around. But if Prophet gets a chance to get set up on the high ground with the Ashe, that makes Zest's life much, much harder, but it's a bit easier to LOS it on this map in particular.
Okaru was trying to nail him down. He was literally one, then gets put to sleep, and then gets hit with a huge ante. Still, despite that, Search is the first to go down because Mag is doing amazing with these follow-ups alongside Zest. Fighting these free pick speeds that Seoul Infernal now have the advantage on the point first. It's a matter of time before they all come falling down.
This is where Seoul Infernal love to play. When they've got the wind in their sails, and they also have momentum to be able to ride upon. So Infernal now taking capture of this point starts to put the onus on them a little bit to try to keep the pressure up onto O2 Blast. You'll see them take this forward positioning. Prophet's going to start to call the Seoul Infernal back to the point. So, oh no, the ante.
Yeah, hitting Protect, and who are you? Who tries to back away in time. At least Prophet from O2 Blast could try to take advantage of take advantage of going back to spawn room. I was going to say the health pack that's behind this point. So that way they can try to work around what little health that they can work with. Is Search and Karu keep getting harassed as they are by Zest and Mag, who are you backing away now in the health pack himself. They're going to wrap around him, trying to sandwich him. He is out of there, using all his blinks after using a recall earlier too.
Such an eco fight win here for Seoul Infernal to take 2. That's going to be 5 ultimates on the board versus O2 Blasts. Pulse Bomb. That might help. That MN3 is hunting for a pick in the backline as well, and Karu looks mighty nice. It's not going to end up getting the stick this time.
This time around, but Search goes down first again. 3 times in a row, the backline is in shambles. Yes, Prophet comes in with the EMP, but we need the follow potential, and with Protect not there, it's really only who are you. The duplicate from Zest has been activated. It's because they're already entering Final Fight territory. They're just trying to stagger them in.
That was really rough when Mag was going after the backline of O2 Blast, and now the shoe's kind of on the other foot. Search and Karu having an incredibly tough time getting either of their ultimates online for this round. And as we start to approach that 90% mark here, Mag could just juggle them all away from the rest of the front line. Search is already down with the rally!
Again, off the ante from Zest. The comms are going crazy as Zest now finds who are you. Overtime taken away, and 2 are out from O2 Blast. Make it 3 now. Protect forced to pop the Primal desperately to try to make his way back. At least try to contest this. Meanwhile, Mag is doing the same thing, trying to force him away, but with an ante. How long can Protect last? He misses out on the window. He can't come back. Even with the rally, O2 Blast are out of there, losing out. Map number 1, Seoul Infernal put a point on the board.
What a big comeback for Seoul Infernal to make as well. That first round was so convincing for O2 Blast. They had full control of the situation on Ruins and made Seoul Infernal's job way too difficult. But when they're in their element, being able to play that Winston Echo or the Sombra Tracer, any sort of variation of that dive, that's where Seoul Infernal looked their most comfortable and the cleanest.
It was just nailing down these individual targets that we saw from the Seoul Infernal. Search, literally searching for another life. He was not able to survive any of the entry engagements with the rest of O2 Blast, but it's the quick adjustment that we saw from the first round that O2 Blast won versus the next 2 following rounds with Zest sticking onto that Echo. Actually beautiful out here. Even seeing some early first Overwatch League fans in the audience. We're going to be going on to a break. We got map number 2 on the other side. Don't miss out. everyone, welcome back. The Seoul Infernal take map number 1 on Ilios, 2-1. O2 Blast put up a pretty good fight in that first round, but then immediately the adaptation from the Infernal came in so strong, with Zest being on the Echo, being up to date with Mag and these follow-ups, harassing the backline from O2 Blast. Now, as we move on to Eichenwalde, though, I'm excited to see, because I'm expecting that Echo to probably be stuck through from the Seoul Infernal Necro.
Look at all the love for Seoul Infernal as well. I love my headcanon that this is what powers the teams on stage, is these individual signs and love and cheers that are going for each team. I mean, they got the jerseys as well. These are hardcore fans out here. Oh my goodness.
It's all those Scoot and Fixa signs giving them
yeah.
their support. Absolutely love it. Supporting all the Seoul teams out here as the audience make their way into supporting the squads that we got on the stage here. Now, looking at the progress of our first map, now as we move on to Eichenwalde, once again, I'm excited because after the performance that we just saw on Ilios, we saw this quick adaptation coming in from the Seoul Infernal. Keep Little P off the Tracer, though. Rather on the Sombra, because that really sometimes in the past, it hasn't really worked out here. Wondering what are the adjustments we're going to have from O2 Blast, thinking about how Search was usually the first one picked off and harassed from the Seoul Infernal. That was their target focus, and Karu did everything that Karu could to help out Search. We even saw the anti onto Zest, trying to shut him down, putting him to sleep. Even on top of all that, it still wasn't enough.
That's the thing about Control. It's a wild, wild west out there. Sometimes a lot of those team fights and engagements don't make a whole lot of sense, and they favor the defensive team more often than not. If you've got control of the point, you can typically ride the momentum there. So that's what happened with Seoul Infernal. We're able to take it out of the clutches of O2 Blast in the second round, and then third round, of course, they started with the capture and able to go full from there. But when it comes down to like hybrid or escort with those map components,
Always love hearing the energy from a live crowd.
That helps
it
too.
Really, it does. It helps. We talk about it, but some players, they may get nervous. Some may feel it as a power-up, as we see MN3 trying to go for a cheeky shot on the other side here.
Snaky.
Yeah. Search shimmy shading his way with the barrier up over to the side. Oh, that was so relatable. Oh, and Profit coming in, being able to find Zest off that one angle. Zest was lingering in for a little too long here. Allows him to benefit off that first pick for right now.
Yeah, Profit's gonna have to back off too now after receiving that anti-nade. But both of these compositions we're seeing on the defense for O2 Blast and the attack for the Seoul Infernal are looks we've already seen from them in the summer stage. They have both played this map with Eichenwalde, so we should expect to see these compositions as we've seen them before.
Goodness. Profit got put to sleep, then got hacked right afterwards. Really telling here from Seoul Infernal, especially trying to get through this first choke. Profit just looking right behind him, just to try to check where Zest may be coming in from. With these May walls, though, too, here from Who Are You, especially in this first point, you could negate some of these rotation approach from these angles onto that point, but it's a matter of just trying to stop Infernal first in that choke as MN3 comes in with the hack again onto Profit, splitting some of that attention off from O2 Blast. Mag falling incredibly low. So's MN3, Skewed and Fixa putting in the double time though, as Skewed has the nano boost, immediately puts it onto Mag, clearing some of that extra space, finding Search first again. Karu was so close to getting the nano boost, and that was a difference maker right here to start this engagement for Seoul Infernal.
Really nice way to start things off, but talk about those May walls you mentioned coming in a little bit clutch, cutting off Mag's access to the backline, and now Who Are You gets a chance to clap back a little bit, but Mag has the Primal Rage to be able to dish it back out. Where's the follow-up though? Mag's kind of waiting for the rest of Seoul Infernal to be able to get back here before they come back in, but the Dragon Strike gets invested.
A lot of damage from trying to jump over that initially there too. Now O2 Blast gets a Profit. Mag was living for a really long time until that very moment right there, because he had the nano boost, and then yeah, like you mentioned, we saw the Primal coming in right afterwards. Even with that snipe though, with the nade, nobody was able to get that pick, and here comes that EMP landing onto 2. Rally activated from Surge right afterwards to retaliate, but it still forces M3 to back away.
Well, what I'm finding really interesting here is EMP didn't land on Search at all. We're also seeing double Doomfist on the table. Both Mag and Protect coming back on that hero just to be able to get back to the point a little bit faster. But Mag's going straight back to spawn.
I don't know if this is going to work out against Who Are You. Especially how on point his walls have been thus far. Just trying to separate the fight now. It's another reset here for Seoul Infernal. And they've really been trying to put in a lot, but with little to no follows between the Nano Boost and the EMP that we saw.
They have a chance to get it back online again. Especially knowing that they have to wait for Zest to be able to come back in. MN3 gets a little bit more time to try to get set up in the back line. But I really like this swap as well. Zest is still going to have a lot of trouble as Prophet's been able to land so many of these shots. But at the very least, you're able to play around the verticality of these buildings just a little bit better. Take a look at Zest's vantage point now to give some really nice intel over to Seoul Infernal to initiate these dives as well.
Now you got basically less than 30 seconds on the clock to at least get that first hit, get this payload moving, best case scenario. Nano Boost, once a Nano Boost here between Karu and Skewed. Mag having to back away here, trying to continue on the pressure onto Surge while Prophet trying to desperately go for the health back. He finds both of them in that side room now, juggling like he's in the circus, finding Karu before jumping right back into the action just when they needed it with less than 10 seconds to get this payload moving.
Yeah, Mag was actually so angry. I would be too, to be fair. Mag in most of those fights wasn't able to play the game at all. Either he was getting slowed down by Who Are You's Mei, or getting completely chunked down by Prophet's Hanzo. There were so many wrenches being thrown into that plan. But Mag gets a chance to get set up once again. You can see him in 3 scouting for an opportunity to be able to use the CMP. But what was Protect doing?
Oh! Protect. Oh, he can go for the reset. He got to the reset. That's
Okay,
why he overextended.
He wouldn't go for that if he didn't have the Meteor Strike online, but that was such great reaction timing there.
Oh no, but as he fell immediately into MN3's open arms to land a 3-man EMP. Surge still alive here, has a rally, but nobody to help rally around. The rest of O2 Blast are down, and Surge was going to be the last one to meet them right back.
Oh my goodness. Frame Perfect sleeps into a Frame Perfect EMP. Such great timing there, and MN3 really earning this Ablaze status. We're gonna take a look at also, oh my god, I can't believe Mag actually got out of there alive.
His survivability is insane. Even without the Primal, even without the Nano Boost, he's great. This is Mag at the end of the day, and Zest has that duplicate. The rally now finally being popped in with the anti. Also protecting Karu. Protect. Can't heal right through that. Prophet gets the retaliation onto MN3. But the number advantage is in favor for Infernal, as Zest from the skies has been harassing the O2 Blast team from down below, with the focusing being between Prophet, Who Are You is next. It's a cleanup here, and it's going to be able to have more space to get this second point.
Zest Echo has been finding so much more value than the Tracer provided earlier on in the match. Part of it because Search and Karu were able to keep themselves alive so well, but Zest with the duplicate can go so aggressive too with Mag.
And now he's going to be able to duplicate the Ana with another big anti on the Karu and Surge. No follow-up between MN3. Zest is keeping everybody alive. Gets the Nano Boost, now puts it onto Fixa. So close to getting that rally. They want to get that rally as quickly as possible to clear this point. They're going to be able to just hold on to it here for Fixa, because they're going to be able to get that second point already after clearing out 4 of those members from O2 Blast.
Did you see the smile on Zest's face? I also thought that was a little bit of a cheeky squat right there before maybe going back to spawn to change up that hero choice. Echo is not the hero that I would have picked to go into this third point, but Seoul Infernal have a little bit of time to work with it. The Echo's been putting on enough pressure. Maybe just try it once and see if you're able to get something done, especially with the EMP.
Rally in loop with the EMP right afterwards from Fixa, allowing the Inferno to get aggressive here to follow up from that EMP. It did land on the backline initially, and Protect getting caught in that. They lose out on Protect and Prophet. Another big anti with the follow-up. Who Are You manages to survive for now. He had the recall. He was forced to use it up, and nobody left from O2 Blast to contest this next corner, Necro.
This is starting to get do or die for O2 Blast. Seoul Infernal are on a mission to full capture this point after they were awarded a second life and then overtime on point number 1. It's gonna be a soldier duplicate here for Zest, trying to completely lock down these. Yes.
And that's right after Who Are You came out on the soldier with the desperate swap. Trying to go into a much more close quarters composition here for O2 Blast. It's working against them in this third point. The way that Zest is playing, he's wiping everybody out from O2 Blast. These antis have been on points. Protect, even with the annihilation. Can't clear off the Seoul Infernal. Zest is just too good at the end. Dealing over 7,000 damage, 21 elims, getting most of those elims at that third point section.
I wouldn't have picked the Echo in third point, just knowing how limited that skybox is. But I guess if you're Zest, it doesn't matter if you play ground Echo or not. Oh my goodness. And Zest's mechanical skill too really lends itself well to being able to play any hero.
This is so big.
And that Sojourn was
Look,
the perfect
Haru's
duplicate.
literally one. He was literally one. Imagine Mag just angrily walking
One
down the other
HP
side,
in a
like,
dream.
I can't do anything about this now, like... But that's why the May was so good at the very beginning, that crap.
For sure. Yeah, Mag had such a tough time being able to get access to the DPS and the squisher targets in the back line. O2 Blast played around that beautifully, and that was exactly what gave Seoul Infernal so much trouble to capture that first objective. It had to be an overtime there, but O2 Blast still have to finish this map. Seoul Infernal capped all 3 points with just a touch of time left in the bank. So we're really looking at Profit right now on the Hanzo to try to keep getting these headshots we've been seeing. So impactful so far. Yeah, maybe they start out with the well, yeah, they're going for the cheeky Widow. You can see the life over there to pull Profit back just in case. Surely not.
Alright, just sort of a quick swap up here too. This is crazy. Even with that 13-second time bank from Infernal, that was all from being held before they got the payload moving initially, even with the extra little time bank that they had worked with initially, but it was non-stop right after they got that payload moving. To see if O2 Blast could work with a lot more time here. See already Profit holding onto the high ground alongside Protect. Search already getting hit with a nice anti from Skew, who's been on point there.
It's been really nice, but this Ramacha proposition is going to be very slow going to try to make its way forward. They're looking for Profit to try to get an opening pick with the Hanzo. There it is. There it is. Protect's gonna go forward now.
Absolutely huge here too. M3 had tried to escape with literally 1 HP, and Mag gets deleted after getting hit with an anti. The follows that we're seeing now between Profit off of Karu are definitely there, while Who Are You continuously presses what is left of the Seoul Infernal on the other side now, as O2 Blast finally get this payload moving now.
That was so fast also. Just in comparison to how much trouble Seoul Infernal had on their attack push, O2 Blast is playing around these picks from Profit. It's going to be a slow rotation of that and Protect just constantly inching forward with this Ramacha shield. But if O2 Blast can keep this up, Profit can keep finding these opening picks. It should be smooth sailing for them too to get through the second point. But the verticality is something that O2 Blast will struggle with. Mag has free access to that high ground. Protect does not. That Ramacha has to walk up those stairs.
While getting hacked by M3 too. Who Are You?
Yeah.
Backing away, managing to get on top of that health pack. Has that pulse bomb, looking for the opportunity. Find Scooter fix it, but the Nano Boost is online for the Infernal while Mag takes onto the high ground. Having this Tracer duel from inside this room while Profit finds the headshot onto Skew, negating the Nano Boost that could come out. Now losing out on Fixa, backline completely gone. Mag has already popped the Primal gear to stay in this fight, but Who Are You with that pulse bomb pick was absolutely big to force the Infernal to respect this space.
So Infernal need to get back into this one with the EMP. M3 has earned that over the course of a few fights now, but that's still like the pulse bomb missing. This EMP has to do something. Try to get the hack on the Profit. Actually gets pushed back here as the rally comes out from Surge.
Backing away here before re-engaging right afterwards, but for Profit finds his mark. Right after that though, he leaves himself vulnerable, and Skewed is here to clean up on IO4, cleaning up O2 Blast. backline gone here. The Anti immediately is getting taken down. He's gonna save that annihilation for this next fight because Seoul Infernal win another team fight.
Okay, Seoul Infernal finally able to stop this cart in its tracks, but not before O2 Blast were able to get it within one fight territory of that second checkpoint. With Prophet starting to play around with this wall climb, called out the Protect Annihilation, Seoul Infernal are going to push this, hoping to try to get that Annihilation out of Protect's pocket before they're able to get back to this point. It's at such an awkward place for O2 Blast though, because you can't necessarily go through the castle on that left side to try to get back to it. It's in this very exposed corner.
And with their come too, they really have to rely on these individual big impactful picks that Hoaryu can maybe land with the pulls. Another anti out to Karu, but this time around it lands and him going right back to the spawn room doors. Prophet to meet him right afterwards. I love the communication coming in between Mag and Skewed, always with these antis from across the field. Look how desperate they are to stop Skewed. Search literally flailing away while Mag is like, get back over here, taking him out, and it's gonna have to be another reset and more time wasted for O2 Blast.
Protect didn't even get a chance to use the Annihilation either. That is still a tool that's in O2 Blast pocket, but at the same time, you have to be able to use these ults in order to start creating that space. Seoul Infernal are not letting up the pressure though. Oh my god!
What? Is this a horror movie? What? I thought this was Overwatch.
Yes.
Prophet, he peeked for 1 second, and he had 3 members of the Infernal just jump on top of him because they can. That was insane.
God. It's Junkenstein out here. I think Halloween came a little too early.
Actually terrifying view from Prophet's point of view. We'll love to see that again. Slow-mo, actually. Nano boost coming in from Skewed onto Mag, and he's just holding forward. Necro literally just staring at Surge while he meets his inevitable doom. They are taking advantage of all this space being taken up. Seoul Infernal are just going to keep pressing onto O2 Blast. Forget the Vortex. The Annihilation's finally been popped. Protect needs to do something here, so he's desperate, but everyone's left his vicinity.
Well, he did something. He went back to spawn. That's a lot of time for O2 Blast now off the board. They're only down to a minute left. After using the Annihilation, Protect is going to go over to the D.Va. If you weren't going to use the Annihilation, though, I would have loved to see Protect make this choice a little bit earlier, give up 30% of the ult charge, and be able to get the mech online here with the D.Va.
Here we see the rush getting called in from Fixa. Skewed gets taken out here. The trade for Karu, but the minute that Surge pops that rally, it gets denied to help out the rest of O2 Blast here. Backline out from O2 Blast while they make their way right back into this fight. Prophet gets taken out next as Hoaryu does get hacked by M3, who's been holding on to this EMP here, getting ready for that next fight, because now you have less than 30 seconds from O2 Blast to even get to that second point.
M3 hasn't needed it. Seoul Infernal haven't needed that EMP to be able to close out any of these fights because of just how aggressive Mag has been playing and getting these big picks. So they do have it as the finishing blow to this map to be able to bring Seoul Infernal to that match point. I expect M3 to be able to get multiple targets with this EMP, and the follow-up from Mag could be huge. They're so split up here!
The desperate Orisa too getting caught in the EMP, so does Prophet now, fighting them in that side room. Ooh, doesn't have the pulse, protects the last strike to keep it together for the rest of the team though, but by himself it's not going to be enough, and neither is that pulse bomb from Who Are You. Seoul Infernal clear up O2 Blast once again on Eichenwalde this time around. Map number 2 going in favor for the Seoul Infernal.
Seoul Infernal needed that overtime push. They ended up getting it, and they ended up converting it over into a map win off the back of some incredible communication between MN3, Zest, and Mag, but I want to call out Fix's Kiriko as well. That was a choice that we haven't seen a whole lot of when it comes down to it interacting with these sort of dive compositions, but that access to the high ground, the ability to use that swift step in order to get close and personal with the opposition paid off in spades. Fixa has incredible mechanical skill. So to see that being utilized, not just on the Brig, but those high impact picks of the Kiriko, so clean.
It was beautiful there, seeing that action from Seoul Infernal. That's going to do it for map number 2. On the other side, we got map number 3 on Route 66. We'll see you soon.
Apagando las luces.
Seoul Infernal sitting at match point after taking Eichenwalde for map number 2. We enter map number 3 territory here to try to be the cherry on top for this team, or can O2 Blast move away from being O3 Blast instead?
Look at all the support. I mean, we're out here fighting. I think there's more fans for Seoul Infernal, though. We got a little bit of bias, right? When it comes down to just showing support for the winning team at the moment, maybe. But I love this. I see Zest out there. Maybe a few other like key supportive signs for Seoul, but O2 Blast really needs the support and love right now too.
Yeah, a lot of those signs saying, let's go Infernal. Giving them the energy that, at the moment, they don't really need. Looking like they're breathing through the series already. O2 Blast started off with such a strong start. That first round that we saw in Ilios, they were able to really come in swinging, preventing the Seoul Infernal from completely taking over the point until Seoul Infernal made the adjustments that they did, with Zest being on that Echo, popping off all the way to the end of Eichenwalde when he had swapped over to the Tracer, still having that performance. Moving on to Route 66, Necra, are you expecting any changes here from Seoul Infernal? Are you expecting maybe that Tracer to be still stuck onto Zest, or are we still going to see the outcome of that Echo really coming in?
So we haven't seen either of these teams play Route 66 so far yet in the summer stage. But Route 66 is classically a Sombra Tracer map. I fully expect MN3 and Zest to come out on the Sombra Tracer, Mag to stick on the Winston. I don't think we're going to see too many changes when it comes to the Seoul Infernal roster, but O2 Blast have to come out with something different. The Ramatra just didn't feel like a strong enough choice when you're relying so much on those high impact DPS picks coming out from Prophet and Who Are You. The backline was getting dove too much. I would love to see a bit more of an aggressive dive, maybe Protect leaning a bit more into the Diva here.
That and like Skewed was so on point with his antis. Actually insane. He was such a problem that you just saw O2 Blast consistently just try to run into his face up on the bridge of Eichenwalde right before that second point. And Mag just basically acting like the bodyguard, just making sure that no problems were going to head towards Skewed's way. And even then, he was so on point with those sleep darts too. Definitely expecting the same to come out on Route 66 here, seeing that Who Are You sticking on the Genji this time.
Who Are You is known for the Genji. I would love to see a little bit more of this, and I love getting a chance to see O2 Blast lean into some of the more confident picks that they have on the team. They are going to go with the Sombra as well, gives them a chance to set up on the defense and take some of those health packs away from MN3 and help Who Are You out in the process. But Seoul Infernal already starting to make a bit of progress here as that card starts to go over towards that very first corner.
Zest is so slippery. Tries to get marked down by Who Are You, who now gets hacked. Oh, another huge anti from Skewed. How does he keep doing it? It causes Karu to lose out first. Surge and Protect are also caught in that. Protect can't recover, and Who Are You can't either. M3 with the cleanup alongside Mag, and the Seoul Infernal now can walk forward with the payload.
That payload is already starting to roll its way through Big Earls. Prophet has an EMP online though, so if O2 Blast are able to come back into this one as a full team of 5, get the setup, Prophet has the ability to potentially just shut this all down. M3 is also a little low. Gotta be really careful here as you take a look at O2 Blast setup for this EMP.
See how Prophet could approach here. Gonna be able to come in from the high ground. Doesn't get the impact that he was looking for. The rest of Infernal just managing to get away from there. Looking at Prophet as he's fighting Ghosts. And a boost now activated from Skewed onto Mag. He's also got the primal reset just in case at the very end here. But the rest of O2 Blast, the backline in so much trouble. Yes, Who Are You has the nano boost onto him before Karu gets taken out. Didn't have the blade though at the very end, and that's just the nano boost that has just been thrown in the trash as O2 Blast are nowhere to be seen to stop them from getting that first point.
Well, the EMP from Prophet didn't do anything either. That was so much healing being pumped out there by Skewed that it bought them enough time to be able to land MN3's EMP. You hit the backline, and everything starts to crumble for O2 Blast's defense. That nano got Who Are You maybe a little bit closer to the Dragon Blade, but you would have hoped that that would come online, maybe be able to save that point A defense for O2 Blast. But Seoul Infernal, I mean, Mag gonna play Doorkeeper again. The Primal Rage is online, just hunting down some of these more slippery players. Where is Protect going?
Honestly,
alone.
He sees the ghost that Prophet is seeing too.
Oh, he's dead.
Oh no, he wanted that blade so bad. Jumping into the air. Mag, with his individual plays, have been finding opportunities to grief O2 Blast. Really, that's what it is. Surge Pop, the rally, was only activated for about 3 seconds before getting shut down. M3 coming in right alongside Fixa to clean up what is left of O2 Blast.
The Genji pick is really nice to be able to get these clear teamfight wins, either by itself with the Nano, or maybe even being able to pair that up with the EMP that is currently online. But M3's gonna strike first!
Oh no,
What?
The impact here. Are you kidding me? The EMP is cleaning up once again, and they're hugging their spawn room doors, Necra. Profit stares into the crack. And Skewed says, here, Skewed, throws out the anti to finish it off at the spawn.
It's like the spread damage coming through from the primary fire of M3 and Zest. Just plenty to be able to just accidentally pepper that damage over to kill Profit before the setup. You or you may be able to stop Zest for a little bit, but the Genji's great if you can get the Dragon Blade out and actually be able to follow up these picks. So Infernal's not letting O2 Blast get this setup.
Oh,
Can't even confirm the picks on the
we need to
back
follow.
line.
There we go. Who are you? But he gets hit with the huge anti again from Skewed. On point. Puts a stop to the Dragon Blade, the Nano Dragon Blade, or rather just the Dragon Blade on top of that here. But Karu with a Nano Boost on to protect. Nowhere in sight for any sort of follow-up. The last one to go down as O2 Blast put in everything, minus the Annihilation that's going to come online for this next fight, but that was tough to watch.
That's so tough to watch because O2 Blast threw all of those ultimates at this fight, and Protect just switched over to the Ramatra. So yeah, you might get the Annihilation up, but Toryu's already down. Protect can't even get out the door.
So we see the desperate swap
EMP.
up. They need to stop it. They need to at least... Oh!
They can't. They can't.
Down East Pickings as M3 goes out with a purpose. The Annihilation isn't going to annihilate anybody. So Infernal did not stop once that cart got rolling.
Oh man. That's tough to watch if you're an O2 Blast fan.
Initiating match.
I was really looking forward to getting a chance to see who are used Genji. The Blade just never in a position to get pulled out because of the antis, the pressure from Mag. You can't deflect the Tesla cannon damage from a Winston. You also kind of can't deflect Skewed or Fix It either if they're going to be coming after you. It's like who are you's whole goal as well. Try to get access to the back line. Get a quick pick. Get those blade resets. Go for those dashes again.
It's so difficult to paint the picture of the comparison right now. Although O2 Blast didn't even get a chance to win one team fight, really. The back and forth is that there's only been 3 total deaths from the Seoul Infernal this match alone, and it's been 1 from MN3, which was the very end, by the way. That doesn't even count because he did it when he died when he used the EMP in their face. Zest has gone down once, and so has Mag. While Skewed and Fixa are complete diffing what we're seeing from Search and Karu.
That's remarkable.
It's insane. Not only the damage, but then the healing output on top of that, and then the individual impact that Skewed has had with these antis that just stopped for you. You're never going to see that Genji have any impact.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think the way that Skewed and Fixa are also just hugging each other makes it way too difficult if you don't have that coordination up front. Who are you needs a bit of that follow-up there, whether it's coming through for Protect or even the Sombra from Prophet would have been an immense help to be able to try to get that down. But gotta give credit to the peel from Mag as well. If Skewed and Fixa are in a bit of a pinch, then Mag can always go back and try to protect both of those supports. He cursed it though. Fixa is gonna go down this time around, but that's a bit to be expected when it comes down to Seoul Infernal swapping to the defense.
Especially with Prophet being on the Hanzo. We saw what happened in that first map alone. Sitting in the back here is Skewed, just taking that more high ground position on top of the gas station. Zed's trying to call out who are you. Right on top of that health pack. And 3's about to get the EMP again, but Zed's going down
early.
Oh! Protect getting the follow-up, and another 5-man EMP, make it 2 in a row on the same map. Who are you? Protect, trying to put a stop to it as Fixa goes down once again. Skewed isn't going to be able to survive through the onslaught from Who Are You. Even with that EMP, O2 Blast still stakes strong here.
O2 Blast able to withstand the EMP, but how would you have ever expected that to come online so quickly? That was the first ultimate on the board in this round, which is also just incredibly remarkable coming through from that Sombra player. M3 showing up time and time again. The hack onto Prophet. Soul Infernal are back for another recontest.
Oh, Protect with the E on the Zest pulse bomb, while Who Are You manages to get impact from his own onto Skewed, which is a huge first pick here because now you won't have the nano boost, while Zest still finds Who Are You, the rally from Surge to keep O2 Blast from having the advantage in this fight. Meanwhile, though, Mag has the primal, so the reset is there. The survivability is going to outdo that of O2 Blast, especially now that your backline is gone. Prophet taking a nap right back into the spawn, and Mag is juggling like he's back in the circus here.
Yeah, he's got some good training going on, that's for sure. Oh boy. We got a minute and a half left on the clock here for O2 Blast to try to make their way back into things. Protect Diva, still ping off better than what we ended up seeing come out from the Winston or the Ramatra on the defense. That defense matrix has been super pivotal. Being able to eat up the pulse bomb from Zest, as you were able to point out, but also just the boosters to help be able to get the peel with the defense matrix has been nice.
Third, not wanting to play the game. It's Skewed, and the EMP said no. I like how Who Are You is able to get these retaliations, but every single time he gets a pick, he gets picked up himself. This time, it wasn't from Zest, it was from Fixa instead. The Diva bomb before going into the reset to clear some space. Though while Mag is still oppressing the backline here, the nano boost was used up from Skew to keep Mag from hugging the front line of O2 Blast. Karu does have the nano boost himself. He's still holding on to that if they can have the opportunity now with less than 40 seconds of the clock for O2 Blast to get that first point.
It's looking pretty dire for O2 Blast to be able to get into this one. Who Are You has not been able to get past Big Earls to try to land this pulse bomb. Karu's gonna have to throw this nano boost, potentially Protect, maybe Search, try to get the rally online, just to be able to approach the cart. Okay, great start though for Prophet.
Huge here, gets the Eddie onto MN3. Fixa has the rally here too. Saw the dragons being put out by Prophet, while he also has a nano boost on him. Trying to get the impact that he needs while Mag is holding onto the high ground. Overtime ticking away. He's got the primal ready. Mag is getting the primal so quick. Dealing with the problem that is Prophet. Fixa getting him in position with the rally. Where can you run? The anti can't do anything. Fixa with the rally was able to also get the stun here with the shield bash. Mag finally gets taken down after being a raid boss, but Fixa's being the problem here. Everybody from the Soul Infernal have made their appearance to clear out this payload. Last one left is Who Are You, and nobody left in sight from O2 Blast. Well, they go through the rename now as O3 Splash, trying to steal that real quick. As the Soul Infernal are your winners for this first series.
What a way to shut out the series as well. A big statement coming through from the Seoul Infernal to be able to take that map 3-0. O2 Blast couldn't get a single point of progress on the board there. I still see some incredibly bright moments for O2 Blast as a team. I know it doesn't feel good to lose in front of your fans, but Seoul Infernal, they might have gotten the T1 buff out there. There was an immense amount of support for them out in the audience today.
Of the respect here, our teams. O2 Blast really need to get back to the drawing board. It hurts for right now, but we've seen the adjustments little by little after this team has gone through rework here. On the other side, Soul Infernal is such a difficult Titan to overcome, especially in the APAC region. Giving their thanks over to the crowd. That was going to be our first and only match on LAN here for today. Always nice to see the support from the crowd when they could watch. We still have so many more matches to go, Necro.
We do. We have 3 more today. This is one of our longer match days in the weekend, but that makes me even more excited. Because if this is the way to be able to start out today, I cannot wait to see what's going to be coming next. Love to see the love out there for MN3 and Zest. Very easy to tell that they are some crowd favorites, taking a look at how many times that they have been shouted out in this entire series.
Love to see the support here saying, you know, they're out here to their first time thanks to these two. And our player of the match, no surprise here, he was going for the 5-time winner of being player of the match. It's going to be Skewed. His first one, at least in this summer half of the Overwatch League. He got it 4 of the times earlier on in this season. And we have to highlight this player for all the right reasons. We've been talking about him from the very beginning, even with his impact on Eichenwalde for map number 2. But Skewed is insane. His survivability, the antis, and the follow-ups in unison with MN3 and Mag have been out there. Zest too, being on the Echo, just helped out so amazingly. These sleeps too, and the difference maker between what we saw from this backline versus the backline of O2 Blast was night and day. Look at the snipe out here, and then the immediate snipe from the anti into getting the follow-up onto both Surge and Prophet on the high ground. They were trying so hard to force Skewed off this bridge network.
Skewed just overall was a huge problem for O2 Blast to deal with. And with all the space that Mag was creating on the Winston, how do you go after Skewed? Who do you send up there to try to bully him off of the high ground? This is a player as well that we've had the pleasure of watching grow into this support role. After watching him on the Los Angeles Gladiators the last season, able to show up on that team, but really just holding down the fort when it comes down to a lot of the dominance we've seen from Seoul Infernal as a team this entire season.
His positioning here, oh my, that was at the very end, Prophet thinking that he was safe. Little
He's
P
not
couldn't
safe.
go anywhere there.
No one
he
is
was
safe.
The cracks on the door, it says, I regret everything. Skewed here at the very end. Oh, that was so sick with the sleep. He got so many of those tight window sleep darts initiated here. We take a look at his stats from this last match alone, by the way. Able to get 8.2 biotic nade kills here, only dying basically 3 times on average. And you round it off at 2.5. The amount of enemies slept too, absolutely insane. Consistency across the board for those 3 maps that we saw them win on. But it was so crazy to see Skewed just not only popping off for 4 times where we highlighted him as player of the match throughout the course of the season, but now this one making it his 5th time to enter into the summer stage.
Well, those sleeps is probably the most important statistic here. Not just because that was a lot of sleeps, but because of the types of targets that Skewed was actually hitting with those sleeps. It was usually somebody that was ulted, had the nano, literally anything. But let's hear from our player on stage with a great translation coming in from Unknown.
2023 오버워치 리그 서머 스테이지 퀄리파이어 동부 오늘의 첫 번째 경기로 인사드립니다. 안녕하세요, 손혜민입니다.
Hello, this is Son Hemin, host of the interview
네,
today.
역시나 오프라인 경기인 만큼 뜨거운 함성과 함께 시작했던 경기였는데요. 강팀의 저력을 보여주듯 서울 인페르날이 3대0 스코어로 승리를 가져가게 됩니다. POTM 받으신 스퀴드 선수 바로 모셔서 이야기 나눠보도록 할게요. 안녕하세요.
We have Skewed on the interview floor.
승리
Hello.
축하드립니다. 소감 어떠신가요?
How do you feel? And congrats on the win.
첫 세트 때 좀 못해가지고 좀 힘들 뻔했는데 이겨서 다행입니다.
I almost felt a little disappointed because I did a little bit bad in map 1, but we won, and that's what matters.
멘탈을 회복을 시켰는지가 궁금해요.
So you mentioned map 1. How did you bounce back
그냥
from it?
하던 대로 연습대로 그냥 하자고 계속 서로 다독여준 것 같아요.
So our teammates were like keep having discussions about, hey, let's do as we did in scrims, and then we naturally got back to our form.
임페르날 선수들이
긴장은 하지 않은 것 같은데.
So do you guys think that you were a little nervous coming into a LAN match?
좀 실수가 나온 것 같아요.
I don't think we were necessarily nervous, but we did have a lot of early mistakes, and that kind of piled up a little bit.
완막당할 위기가 살짝 있었습니다. 그때 정말 거짓말처럼 해결사처럼 스퀴드 선수가 힐벤과
In Eichenwalde, you were almost full held just to have you save the day with the anti-nades and sleep. So like, what are your general feelings about that map?
이 생각 들었고 뭐라도 해야겠다 싶어서 수류탄 던졌는데.
So yeah, we thought we had this kind of feeling that we might actually lose this map, and then I just kind of out of desperation threw the nades and the sleep, and it worked out really well. So a little bit of a nervous feeling over there, but it worked out really well.
상대 팀을 재우면 임페르날이 안 깨우더라고요. 혹시 그런 훈련을 좀
So we noticed that unlike a lot of teams, like Infernal is really composed when there's a sleep dart. Nobody's like waking a slept target unless really needed. Is there any communications behind that?
살짝 안 깨우던가요?
좀 이제 재운다 하면은 다 이제 안 때리는 것 같아요.
So I mean, this is something that is a result of a lot of practice. I usually call out I slept someone, and then they just usually really careful about them.
보통 아나 플레이어들은 이제 유명한 선수들이 많잖아요. 서블러 선수들 중에서 공격적으로 하는 아나 플레이어가 있고 조금
So there are a lot. I mean, Ana is really kind of like the pronoun of a flex support. Do you consider yourself aggressive or
많이
passive?
공격적인 것 같아요. 많이 죽기도 하고.
I think I'm really aggressive. It kind of there's a give and take. I die a little bit more, but I'm also making a lot of things happen.
솜트 윈 조합에 보통 아나 브리를 많이 쓰잖아요, 팀들이. 근데 오늘 임페르날은 아나와 키리코를
So
기용해서
we've noticed that you used Ana and Kiriko alongside Winston and the double flankers. Instead of the break, any reasons for that?
상대로 브리기테가 좀 어려워가지고 네, 제가 그 픽사 선수가 그 키리코를 한번
We looked at the enemy opposition's composition, and it wasn't really with the range and all that. It was a little bit of a challenge to have the brig on. So I just called out to Fixa and hey, like, you know, you can play the brig. No, actually, you can play the Kiriko really well. So that's how the Ana Kiriko came to be.
네, 루슈 각이라면서 그냥 혼자 막.
So I mean, also you guys played the Lucio. Was that like a team call? No, I mean Fixa was like, this is a Lucio moment, and he just brought out the Lucio.
네.
네, 근데 상대 델러스에서 인페르나를 납작하게 만들어주겠다라며
So next up
자신감을
is the
보여주기도 했는데
Fuel. Fuel said that they'll stomp
생각이신가요?
you. Do you care to comment about that?
그냥 조금 귀여운 것 같아요. 왜냐하면 저희를 이겨본 적이 없으니까.
I think that's a little cute because stomp is a strong word to say when they've never won
그럴
against
일은
us.
없다라고 자신감 넘치는 답변을 주셨습니다. 그렇다면 댈러스 퓨얼의 혹시 키 플레이어가 누구라고 생각하시나요?
Who do you think's the key player for Dallas Fuel?
아, 바로 그 스파클 선수가 납작하게 만들어주겠다라고
스파클.
얘기를 했는데 딱 그렇게 키 플레이어로 집어주신 것 같습니다. 오늘 오프라인 경기였기 때문에 현장에 많은 분들이 와주셨습니다. 마지막으로 팬분들께
A lot of fans came to the LAN event today to support you. Do you have any messages to them?
블라스트 팬분들 와주셔서 정말 감사합니다.
Thank you for all your support.
아, 네, 감사한 말씀 전했습니다. 지금까지 서울 인페르날의
And that is the end of the interview. Back to you, Vicky.
Thank you so much, Unknown. Love being able to hear some of these thoughts coming in as well with these interviews. Makes it a lot more personal to get the thoughts of some of our players, Nekra.
I love being able to hear that too, especially the Dallas Fuel call out. Cannot wait to see how that match is going to go down because that's going to be amazing. But that does it for this matchup. Amazing to see the Seoul Infernal and O2 Blast head up against each other. Next up, we've got the Guangzhou Charge and Panthera. We'll see you after this break.